What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video I'm going to be discussing the UFC fighters with the most power, those mythical creatures that just possess the power of stone that just knock people out with one punch. Or I'm going to be talking about fighters who have decent power, or I'm going to be talking about fighters who have no power, who have pillow hands, who couldn't hurt a fly. I'm going to be ranking 40 different UFC fighters on a spectrum from death touch all the way down to what are you going to do, volume punch me, in the words of Brendan Schaub. So yeah, we're going to talk about a bunch of fighters that either hit hard or don't hit hard at all. And you guys can let me know if you agree or not. Some of these placements will probably be a bit retarded, but my brain just requires everything to be even. I think it's called autism. So yeah, there's going to be somewhere like, what do you mean, bro? How you have this guy above this guy? It's mostly just going to be because like I had to put someone in the other tier to make it even. But yeah, let's get started, and we'll start off in the top tier of death touch. Starting off in the death touch tier, Carlos Prates. I am aware I am fully glazing this dude beyond belief, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I ain't stopping. So anyone who has an issue with the Carlos Prates glaze, you can fuck off, because this dude's going to be a fucking champion. I don't give a fuck. This guy hits hard as shit, like, bro. Come on, you can't, even if, like, I seen some people just trying to hate for no reason, be like, bro, it didn't even land, man. Magny took a dive, bro. Like, yeah, sure, buddy. Like, temple shots literally sleep people. Like, that's one of the main spots. These guys probably think, oh, bro, it didn't land clean on his forehead, bro. Like, a shot is literally more devastating if it lands on the temple than on the forehead. But anyway, Prates hits hard as fuck. This dude has 4 KOs, 3 of them in the UFC, 4 of them in the UFC, 3 of them in the UFC are just straight walk-off punch KOs. Slept Trevin Giles, slept Li Jingliang. Who does that to Li Jingliang? No one's KO'd Li Jingliang before that. And then just slept Magny brutally. Magny's been finished obviously before, but he's never just been like laid out flat, cold, dead on the canvas, I don't think. Like Morales finished him with strikes, but he didn't fucking drop him and just kill him immediately with one punch. This dude is not following up. When the fuck is this guy throwing ground and pound? Like, he threw a bit against Magny early on when he ended up on top, but when this guy drops people, he just lets them back up. And as Jeremy Stevens would say, this guy TKOs people. When not enough people out, they don't fucking move. Like, this dude's sleeping people. He doesn't need to follow up. He's just walk-off KOing everyone. And he's already banked 200 grand in bonuses this year. This dude hits hard as fuck. He's got the death touch, undeniable. If you're knocking people out with those kind of shots, even the other knockdown about midway through round 1 just dropped him bad. And that wasn't even like a flush shot. Like, this dude is just flatlining people with one punch. It's fucking crazy power. I don't care. He KOs Leon Edwards. Cry about it. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm going to put him in the crazy power tier because for a flyweight, we are looking at pound for pound tier. Like, this is not, oh, who would get the highest on a punch machine. This is pound for pound, who's just KOing guys. And this dude was sleeping motherfuckers at flyweight. Like, his flyweights are known for being victims with no power, and Figgy stands out as a guy who actually just sleeps people. So you got to give him his credit. Even was the first guy to drop Cheeto with a punch. I know some people said it was a slip. It looked like a fucking knockdown to me. Maybe it was contributed to by a slip, but that shot landed clean and definitely rocked Cheeto Vera. This dude's got power for days, crazy power. I've got a feeling he might catch Jan and finish him, maybe a body shot, maybe work the calves a little bit, go up top, land a hook or something, drop Jan, but I don't know. Figgy though, it's undeniable this dude's got power. Anyway, let's move on to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Michael Chandler, the adopter of the black children himself. I'm going to put him in KO power. I think it's pretty undeniable. Michael Chandler definitely does have KO power. I was going to make a tier called like big meaty hook power or like big meaty power, just for the guys that probably don't have as much natural power, but they just load up beyond belief and fucking drop people. Like that, I was thinking about doing that, but I think I'll just leave it with this. This dude's got KO power. He knocked out Dan Hooker bad. He's hurt guys on the feet. He hurt Gaethje, hurt Oliveira, hurt Poirier. This guy stings people and he hurts them. There's an argument that he's 1 tier higher. I'm going to leave him in KO power for now. If you guys want to have him higher, by all means, not going to complain about that at all. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Joaquin Buckley. He's got good power. You know, he did flatline Wonderboy, and that is the reason why I wanted to make like a big meaty power tier, just for the guys that load up and land some big shots. But apart from that, he's not really just sleeping dudes with punches. Like, he's got power undeniably. He hits hard. He hurt Derive a bunch in their fight. He hurt Morono a lot. Hurt Luque. But I don't know if he just like he's not like consistently just dropping dudes with like just a casual cross. Like he's not just throwing punches out there and just dropping guys or hurting them. Like when he winds up and lands, got crazy power for sure. But I'd say regularly, like the normal Buckley punch, it's probably not going to KO you. You got to watch out for it. But like the average Buckley punch, you're alright. But yeah, when this guy starts winding up the big meaty hooks, that's when you got to take cover and get out of the way. You do not want to be in that guard, man. People forget, man, Joaquin Buckley. But no, Buckley's got power for sure. Anyway, let's move on though to the bottom tier. Hey, Aljo, what are you going to do? Volume punch me? I'm sorry, if you fight Aljamain Sterling, you're at zero risk of getting finished with strikes. Maybe he ground and pounds you, but on the feet, you ain't getting dropped. Like, if you say a left lane, you get $100 for every minute you survive with Aljo on the feet. You know, he's going to outstrike me, but I don't know if this guy's KOing me. I think I'm losing a decision. I don't know if this guy's dropping me. But yeah, Aljo, bro's got pillow hands, cannot hurt a fly. He's got some, like, a random spinning back fist fucking highlight in his pre-title career, but apart from that, find me a highlight of Aljamain Sterling hurting someone on the feet. Trick question, you can't. Anyway, let's move on, though. Back up to the top tier. Next up, we got Poatan, Alex Pereira. It's undeniable this dude's got death touch. Now, it's funny because he doesn't actually just flatline dudes with punches. Like, he's not one-shot laying guys out, which is the interesting part. Like, he doesn't just one punch, just face plant, no follow-ups, but he touches you and you're rocked. Like, it's not like he touches you and you just fall asleep immediately, but he drops you with punches, he'll hurt you with, like, random jabs. Khalil Roundtree said he was getting rocked with jabs in the 4th round. That's how fucking hurt he was. He was just, like, every jab was, like, stunning him and, like, hurting him. So, yeah, it's pretty undeniable. Pereira's got death touch. I remember a time when, before the Jamal Hill fight, or maybe it was before, it was before the Jamal Hill fight, Lucas Tracy came out and said that Alex Pereira's left hook was the most overrated punch in MMA, and that he's not actually that powerful. That's a fact. He said that, and then he proceeded to just sleep Jamal Hill. But anyway, let's move on though to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Carlos Ulberg. You know, I was looking for some more people to include on the list, and Carlos Ulberg came to mind. Definitely a guy with crazy power. The way this dude just immediately slept Menefield as he ran in. Look, that's not the most impressive thing, but this guy's landing check hooks and just dropping guys bad. I think he's got pretty crazy power. Maybe I'm overrating the power a little bit. He's fighting Volkanovski to me though. We'll see what happens there. If he KOs him, this take will age well. If not, I'll come back to this. I'll probably bump him down a couple spots, but I think it's undeniable that Ulberg's got some pretty solid power. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Dustin the Diamond Poirier. This dude's got power for sure. KO'd BSD with a nasty check hook. But look, he's got flatline KOs on the record for sure. Like, he's got one-punch shots, but a lot of his work is volume combinations. He puts punches together better than almost anyone in the sport. I'd say just behind Ilya, honestly. And maybe you could have an argument for, like, Peter Yan above him, but Poirier puts together punches incredibly well. Like, that's how he beat Gaethje the first time. That's how he beat Conor McGregor the second time. That's how he lands. That's how he had a lot of success against Dan Hooker. A lot of his fights aren't just one-shot KOs, even when he was putting it on Chandler. He does have power for sure. That's why I've got him on the list. I'm not saying like, oh, Poirier doesn't hit hard. He's got crazy power, but I wouldn't say he's got like death touch. Like, you just can't get hit by Poirier. What you don't want to do is let Poirier unload combinations or get you hurt in the first place. Because a lot of the time you won't get dropped, but you'll get hurt on the feet or cracked, and then you're just cooked because he lands 20 punches in like 2 seconds. So yeah, that's my assessment of Dustin Poirier's power. Anyway, let's move on though to another fighter. Next up on the list, Michel Periera Demolador. And he had a bit of a mid-performance against Fluffy Hernandez and kind of exposed him a little bit cardio-wise. I still think this dude's got crazy power. Maybe not crazy. I'm going to put him in good power because, look, he does KO people. He does hurt people with punches. Dropped Periera. Hurt Mikel with body kicks, to be fair. Dropped Petrosky. But I think a lot of this, it's just explosiveness. But I think that's like, I can't put him in there higher up on the list because he just doesn't carry that power for the whole fight. He's got like a 1 minute period where he hits fucking probably like top 10 hardest punches in the sport. And then he just falls off a cliff and has no danger. So I can't put him too high up the list. But Michel Periera still definitely has power. Anyway, let's move on to the bottom tier once again. Next up, we got Neal Magny, a.k.a. Kenneth Okoye. The absolute bum himself. No power. No chin anymore. Prates took his chin. I'm not going to hear anything else. Look, Magny may or may not have been completely washed, but still Prates is the GOAT. But no, Magny, no power, can't hurt a fly, never hurt anyone with punches in his life. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, Toporio. Slap the nose off him. Stand your base. Toporio, fucking, who's Joe? He's got crazy power. Ilya's got nuts power. Gaston Bolaños, aka Joe. This is a meme we've started on our channel. I'm not going to hear it from anyone else. We started it in the Left Lane stream. Gaston Bolaños is Joe. You know when Ilya asked Max, who's Joe? It's Gaston Bolaños. Gaston Bolaños is officially Joe. So anytime you see him post or anything, just comment Joe under his post. Something like that. But Ilya Toporio, he's got nuts power. This dude hits like a fucking truck. This guy TKOs people. When I knock people out, they don't fucking move. I just need a clip of that just to keep playing it. But yeah, the Jeremy Stevens impression needs some work. But yeah, Ilya Toporio, crazy power to KO Holloway. You've got death touch for sure. This dude sleeps people, undeniably. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Joe the Salty Man pyfer carrying the power of the salt mines. Him. Just crazy. This dude hits like a truck. I've borderline got him in top tier, but, you know, he wasn't able to finish Jack Hermansson, so it's like maybe he's crazy power, or maybe he's just landing powerful shots on guys who are open as fuck. But, like, for me, to be really up there with, like, the craziest of power is, like, you gotta be KOing guys that don't normally get hit clean, that don't normally get rocked and hurt. And to me, Joe Pyfer hasn't quite done that yet. Like, he's beat GM3, beat Marc-Andre Barriel, like, if he'd KO'd and slept Jack Hermansson, I think he might be top tier, because he definitely has power, but I just can't quite put him in the top tier just yet. Sorry, bro, I don't believe that you hit as hard as Nigganu. Don't come at me. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the list, the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis, first real African champion, training out of Africa, fighting out of Africa, breathe the African air, real African champion. Dricus du Plessis, crazy power. Maybe not crazy. He's got really solid power, though. This guy's got KO power. Was able to rock Izzy, finish Rob on the feet. Couldn't get Strickland. That's the thing that's probably holding him back. Just like, Strickland's not the most granite-chinned guy, but you got to be like, I don't know, sometimes to be in those top tiers, you got to be just KOing dudes with like not even clean shots, in my opinion. But Dricus, still crazy power. Slept Trevin Giles as well with a big meaty hook. I know people were like shitting on Prates saying, oh, he looked mid against Trevin Giles. Like, Dricus also looked mid against Trevin Giles until he KO'd him. Like, Giles is good at making people look mid until they KO him. Something he does. It's his specialty. Anyway, Dricus, very good power. Let's move on though to another fighter. Song Yadong, he has CCP power, but it has kind of been shown to not be quite as unstoppable as I think some people originally thought. I considered this dude like the hardest hitting bantamweight. And then it's kind of become clear that it's probably O'Malley, I guess. But O'Malley's more precision. I think Song Yadong has the big meaty hook power. O'Malley's got like the precise precision beats power and timing beats speed. That type of power. But Song Yadong, I still think he hits very hard. Still deserves a placement on the list for sure. KO'd Ricky Simone. You know, he's hurt guys. He's hurt a lot of guys, but wasn't quite able to like hurt. He did rock Sandhagen, to be fair, but like he couldn't hurt Yarn too much in their fight. But he definitely has power because he's keeping guys at bay, and you see that they give him respect and don't want to engage too much in the pocket with Song Yadong. Anyway, let's move on to another fighter. Next up, we got Sean Strickland. Here's the fucking thing, man. Strickland, I'd say, what are you going to do? Volume punch me? Apart from dropping Izzy and like finishing gassed out Abbas Magomedov and I guess early shit Brendan Allen, what the fuck has this guy done? He's like a full top 5 fighter, and he's just not dangerous on the feet in terms of power. He's a defense merchant, jab and teep merchant, but yeah, this guy really doesn't have much power. It took him like the most perfect fucking crisp 1-2 you'll ever see to drop Izzy to a knee. Like, he just doesn't hurt people that much in fights, to be honest. Strickland, you know, I used to like him. Now he's just become a bit annoying personality-wise, but yeah, it's undeniable this dude has pillow hands. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, we got Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's the king of the big meaty hooks. Like, this is the reason why Lucas Tracy invented the big meaty hooks meme. It's Josh Emmett. This dude, this guy TKOs when I knock people out, they don't fucking move. When he KOs people, they do not move. Like, can you think of a Josh Emmett, like, TKO win? No, he just flatlines motherfuckers. Like, Michael Johnson, dead. Lamas, dead. Bryce Mitchell, dead. He either loses a decision, or maybe he could get finished, or he just sleeps you and makes you dead. Like, there's not many times I've thought someone's just died in the octagon. I thought one of them was Li Jingliang and Carlos Prates, because Li was out for ages. One of them was Frivola against Ziam, and another one, there's been a few others, but another one was Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, because this dude was literally convulsing on the floor. Josh Emmett, crazy power, undeniable death touch. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, we got Bogdan Guskov. This dude, I haven't made many edits. I just released one on the channel about Prates. The only other edit that I've done recently was Bogdan Guskov, and that shit gave everyone who watched it fucking epilepsy, because I put so many fucking edits on that just to stop it from getting copyrighted. But that's beside the point. Bogdan Guskov has crazy power. You watch that guy fight Ryan Spann, you watch the guy fight Zach Pounga. I know those aren't the highest level of opposition, but he's sleeping them. I'm telling you, this dude fucking hits hard, and he's about to KO the iron chin of Johnny Walker, who's never been knocked out, and I don't know what you're saying if you disagree. He's going to be the first man to KO Johnny Walker, because he's just that guy. Bogdan Guskov hits hard as fuck. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, Jack Della Maddalena, JDM. He's got very solid power. Definite KO power. First 3 finishes by TKO in the UFC, and then obviously dropped Randy Brown bad, which is a great win. That's his best win in my opinion, performance-wise. Level of opposition, obviously it's Gilbert Burns, but I think overall performance and quality of opposition, I think Randy Brown's actually the most impressed I've been with a JDM fight, to be honest. He's got power. Obviously, you're not going to KO Kevin Holland. I'm not going to be the guy who is like, oh, he didn't KO Kevin Holland, he's got pillow hands, bro. He's got crazy power. When he lands clean, it's crazy. He works the body really well. Still think Prates beats him. I'm just going to say that because everyone's like, bro, he beat Neal Magny. How are you going to say he beat Prates? It's just very funny to just jump I love the pump the brakes guys. I'm going to do a most annoying fan bases video, and I'm going to put the pump the brakes guy. I think Lucas did this, so it's going to be a bit weird. But I remember him doing something like annoying like fan bases along that line. The guys that just like will not allow you to credit a fucking prospect pisses me off. Like, bro, what do you mean, man? This guy's not even top 10 caliber, bro. Kenny's saying none of the fighting nerds are going to be top 10 like future champions, and not, which is okay. You don't have to say they're going to be future champions, but he's like, nah, none of them are even going to be like top 5, bro. Like, Prates would lose to fucking Ian Gary and Jeff Neal, bro. Like, shut up. Just, can you let us have some fun with a prospect, please? Pause. But like, this dude's saying Fareed Basharat's going to be a fucking top 5 guy, but he won't let me glaze Carlos Prates. Like, bro, just let him fucking glaze someone. Like, realistically, chill. Like, why people got to be like, why are people gatekeeping prospect glaze? Like, let us fucking credit who we want to credit. Don't be like, nah, bro, you're casual, bro. This guy sucks, man. It just pisses me off. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, I'm going to put MVP in the good power tier. He's very precise. He's very accurate. You know, he's extremely quick. But I wouldn't say his pure power is that crazy. Maybe I'm bugging. I mean, like, he hasn't got a KO in the UFC yet. I know he's got a lot of KOs outside. But, like, those are a lot of those, like, knees and head kicks and stuff. Punch KOs, he's got them. But I need to see him like beat like a top 15 UFC guy via KO with punches for me to put him a bit higher on the list. Anyway, let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Nate Diaz, the king of the... What are you going to do, Nate? Volume punch me? This dude cannot hurt anyone realistically. I mean, he can. But dude, Nate Diaz does not hit hard at all. He's the biggest volume merchant ever. Love what Brendan Schaub said. What are you going to do, Nate? Volume punch me? I'll beat you ass and I'll pick my kid up just in time with a Diet Coke. I forget what the exact quote was, but he was channeling his like inner fucking 2010s Chael promo right there, bro. That shit was elite. Anyway, let's move on to the next fighter. Next up, Derek Lewis. You know, Donald Trump called me before the fight. Told me I had to knock this Rush motherfucker out. Make us look bad on the news and shit, you know, him and Putin. Fuck what I talking about. USA and this whole shit. Derek Lewis, I don't know, that's probably a terrible impression, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Lewis has power, for sure. This dude sleeps, guys. Blades fell victim to it. He's kind of Nascimento. This guy lands, and a lot of people just wobble. Now, maybe he's lost a bit of the power. Funnily enough, apparently Derek Lewis is actually, like, under the normal testosterone, like, amount. Like, he's low testosterone, which is concerning for what we would be dealing with if he was like high testosterone. But no, Derek Lewis has crazy power for sure. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, Jan Blachowicz. I gotta skim through some of these so I can keep this video under like 40 minutes. Blachowicz has crazy power for sure. Slept. Reyes was the first dude to KO him, I'm pretty sure. He slept a lot of guys, to be honest. Who else has he slept? I'm going brain dead. But I know he's KO'd a lot of people. Don't call me a casual. He's KO'd a lot of people. I'm forgetting his entire resume right now. But yeah, Blachowicz, crazy power, undeniable. Let's move on though to the next fighter. Next up, Kai Kara France. Can we get some of the Kai Kara France emojis in the comments, just so you guys, I want to know if you guys have made it this far in the video. So comment the emoji that represents Kai Kara France if you guys know what I'm talking about. But this dude has power. I'll give him credit for a victim weight, for a midget. He does hit pretty hard. Not quite as hard as Figgy in my opinion, but he did KO Nick Urseg. I have to separate those two names there. But yeah, he's got power. This dude's KO'd a lot of guys, KO'd the granite chin of Cody Garbrandt. But yeah, Kai Kara France definitely hits hard. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Maximus Holloway. I'm going to put him in good power because, yes, we did see this dude look crazy powerful against Gaethje, and he did sleep Zombie. But I don't know, maybe lightweight Holloway, I got to rank him differently. But I think on average, throughout his career, Holloway has typically been a more of a volume puncher. I'm not going to put him in the bottom tier because that would indicate that he just is incapable of finishing someone with strikes. But no, Holloway's got power for sure, but he has to really sit down on the shot. Like when this dude's normally on the outside throwing his punches, he's not just randomly dropping people with one punch. Like he wobbled Gaethje bad, but apart from that, and apart from those two KOs with Gaethje and Zombie, which like those are the two times when guys are most vulnerable to get KO'd, when they're just running in or just winging shots, not expecting to get hit. But apart from that, Holloway, I'm not saying he's not powerful, he is for sure, but I wouldn't call him like a crazy power. I don't think anyone really considers Holloway a power puncher. I think they consider him like a cardio striker, like a volume striker first, with power if he sits down on the shots, in my opinion. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, back down to the bottom tier. Decision beats power and time limit beats speed. Belal Muhammad, the philosopher, the fucking Mount Rushmore of pillow fists in the UFC, Mount Rushmore of decision maxes. Belal Muhammad. Sean Brady got TKO'd by this guy. I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to keep bringing him up because he's just retarded. But Rigo, I watched the end of his stream because I wanted to see what he was saying, because I had a feeling that he was going to be saying some dumb shit. And sure enough, he's randomly just shitting on Prates. Oh, you're allowed to not like Prates, fine, whatever. But this dude's, he's like, this dude would get shoved into a locker by Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a real American bully. First of all, you're Canadian. You're not American. And also, Sean Brady got KO'd by Belal on the feet. Like, standing TKO and quit. I'm telling you, it gets dropped by fucking Sean Brady. It gets dropped by Prates. Rigo is just retarded and just enjoys randomly discrediting someone who's clearly good, and he just randomly decides to hate them because he's fucking retarded. Anyway, I won't talk about him anymore. But yeah, Belal, pillow hands, to get cracked by this guy at all is a terrible look. So I think Belal doesn't quite hit very hard, to be honest. Might be a hot take there. But anyway, let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got to speed through some more. Tom Aspinall, crazy death touch, amazing power. Dude's just sleeping everyone. You can't get hit by him and live, apparently. That's what we're learning with Tom Aspinall. Anyway, let's move on to another fighter. Next up, another one of my boys, Diego Lopes. I'm going to glaze this dude too. And if anyone's trying to hate on Lopes, I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't care. Maybe he doesn't beat Ilya, but he's still my GOAT. But no, Lopes has nuts power, dude. This guy KO'd Pat Sabatini brutally, KO'd Sadiq Yusuff immediately. Fucking cooked Brian Ortega, hurt him bad. Another L for the people that picked Brian Ortega, including Rigo, because he's retarded. Anyway, yeah, Lopes fucking crazy power, dude. Like, first minute and a half Lopes, he's got three finishes, 2 TKO or KO finishes over Sadiq Yusuff and Pat Sabatini inside a minute and a half, and then he almost finished Ortega inside 30 seconds, or inside 40 seconds, and probably could have if he let him back up straight away, but it is what it is. Still beat the fuck out of him and displayed crazy power against Ortega, who doesn't normally get dropped. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, I'm coming! Jiri Prohaska, sorry about that. KO power for sure. This dude was rocking Reyes. Obviously the ending shot was not a punch, but yeah, the elbow was crazy. KO'd Volkan Ozdemir, which is not... People forget, who KO's Volkan Ozdemir? I mean, people probably have, but, like... I can't remember off the top of my head. This is 1 a.m. left lane recording right now. But yeah, crazy power, Jiri Prohaska for sure. Let's move on though to another fighter. Tudo bem, do Bronx, Charles Oliveira, man, big champion, big support, thanks so much. Charles Oliveira, you know, he hits hard as fuck. Look, I don't know why I don't have him higher. I mean, I'm looking around the list. What's a crazy take that I have here? I don't know. Maybe you should be above Kai Kara France, I guess. Pound for pound, though, Oliveira's got power, yeah, but it's like, again, he's hitting people with the most precise, crisp, clean shots to put him down, I feel like. He's not, like, randomly landing glancing shots and just KOing guys. Not to discredit Oliveira, he's got power for sure. KO'd Chandler, KO'd Neal off a head kick, to be fair, but hurt him with punches too. This dude's got nuts power for sure, but I wouldn't say he's like the most crazy KO guy ever. Anyway, let's move on to another fighter. Oh la la, it is not a joke. Cyril Gane. No, this is not good placement for me. I only want to be up in the rankings. I fight for title shot. Cyril, this is not a title shot. I'm ranking you on... I don't care. This is not good matchup for me. Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich above me? No. This does not make sense. I only fight for the belt. Cyril Gane. What are you going to do? Volume punch me to the back of the head with back of the head elbows? That's the additional kind of phrase that you have to put onto that quote there with Cyril Gane. Back of the head elbow enthusiast. If they legalize back of the head elbows, this dude's a quadruple champ. This dude's inventing a new weight class at like 350 pounds and just winning belts. Like, he's a 10-time defending champion if back of the head elbows were fully allowed. I mean, probably not though, because he already does it even though it's not allowed. So, Gane just breaking the rules, kind of based. Oh no. This is not good matchup for me. This is not good rule set for me. I need to be able to cause my opponent concussive brain damage. Cyril Gane, that'll do it for Gane. Volume punch extraordinaire. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Francis Nigganu, Ngumbo. I'm sorry. This dude's got death touch for sure. Ask Overeem, ask Stipe, ask Blades, ask anyone. Ask fucking Hernan Fajea, who got KO'd with ground and pound from this guy. This dude fucking hits hard as shit. Like, you can't get hit by Ngannou, man. This guy's nasty. Definite death touch for Ngannou. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Jean Silva. Another one of the Fighting Nerds plot armor enjoyers, and another guy who will most certainly be a former or future champion, I should say. Who cares about logic? He's gonna win the belt. Just trust the process. But Gene Silva, autistic as fuck, benefits your fighting style. Dude's got crazy power. KO'd Jourdain, first man to do it as well. These Fighting Nerds guys, first people to knock out their respective opponents. Li Jingliang, first guy to get knocked out by Prates, and Charles Jourdain, first guy to get knocked out by Jean Silva. So these dudes have different power. And yeah, Gene Silva definitely up there. I wouldn't say quite as hard hitting as Prates. More of the brute, like the big meaty hook power. But still hard as fuck is how Gene Silva hits. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Justin Gaethje. Copper poisoning victim. I don't know what I'm even saying at this point. Justin Gaethje, look, retarded Gaethje, like pre-COVID, pre-Ferguson fight Gaethje, hit hard as fuck. And he still does, but like when Gaethje, I think this is part of my point where like there needs to be like a big meaty hooks tier, because prime Gaethje was big meaty hooks maxing and he was just KO motherfuckers. And now he's kind of refined it a little bit, he boxes more technically, and he doesn't quite have that same pop. Like, when's his last KO win? I'm trying to think. When is his last like KO? Oh, Poirier with a head kick, but when is his last punch KO? Like TKO over Ferguson, and before that I guess it was the Cowboy fight. Like, this dude hasn't like killed anyone with a punch in a while. So Gaethje still pretty crazy power for sure. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, Israel Adesanya. I was tempted to just put him in the bottom tier and just refuse to elaborate and make everyone mad. And someone would be like, what do you mean, bro? Izzy's got KO power, bro. Yeah, he does. But similar to Holloway, where if he sits down on the shot and lands it perfect, he sleeps you. But if he's not landing it perfect, he's not sleeping you. Like, he either sleeps you when he lands a shot perfect, or he's kind of just chilling and range kickboxing for 25 minutes. Like, I mean, he does get some knockdowns, but he's either like full fucking flatlining you, or in the rare case, he'll rock like Periera in the first round of their first fight. Like, but apart from that, it's just cruise mode Izzy, and he's not, like, he didn't catch Strickland with anything, didn't hurt him bad, didn't really hurt Drickus that bad. He's just unable to consistently display power, so leads me to believe there might be some external factors, or factors that might be like internal inside Izzy's bloodstream, which are determining that power at times. But anyway, let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we got Colby Duckington himself. Volume punch extraordinaire. Never finished a fucking fight via TKO in his life, apart from Tyron Woodley injuring his rib. But yeah, apart from that, Colby Covington, I just ain't seen a whole lot of knockdowns from this guy. He might have one of the lowest knockdown to fight time ratios in the UFC. Kind of impressive, to be honest, to be that pillow-handed and chat that much shit. You'd think he's talking like, if he's fighting, I don't want to bring him up again, but fighting like Prates, you talk like that, bro, but he's fighting, look, he's not like a boring fighter, but like, he's also just not, like, he dominates some people, but he's not just like smoking guys and humiliating them, like, Colby just yaps, and he's got like no power, so it's kind of funny. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up, we're cramming for space here, but we'll fit him in. Sergey Pavlovich. Look, death touch, maybe you disagree, maybe someone else deserves it, or maybe he just doesn't deserve it, no one else does. I just wanted to make the list even, and at this time I'd already put everyone else in. So, yeah, Pavlovich, death touch. I mean, it's not like death touch, but it's like cooked touch. Like, if he this guy was rocking Curtis Blades with jabs. Now, he couldn't land much on Volkov, which is why he wasn't KOing him. But Volkov actually has a solid chin, which is why I've got him down the bottom of death touch here, which Pavlovich, that is. But yeah, I still think he's got pretty solid fucking power. Like, he just barraged and just smoked Rosenstrike and Ty and Blades. I think he's going to KO Rosenstrike. Oh, sorry, Lewis, Ty, and Blades. I think he's going to KO Rosenstrike. Racially motivated Pavlovich is back. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the list, Sean O'Malley. I do still think he has crazy power. Look, he wasn't able to chin Merab, but Merab's like awkwardly annoying and also kind of just doesn't really get chinned by anyone. He gets rocked, which O'Malley wasn't really able to do, but I still think O'Malley's good, and when he's on the feet, like this guy rocked Peter Yan, first guy to like really hurt Peter Yan with a punch in memory in the UFC. Oh, I think he got hurt early on, didn't he, by that Asian dude or whatever, I think. Don't quote me on that. But apart from that, KO'd Aljo, which is pretty crazy thing to do. His counter-striking is nuts. Eddie Wineland KO, obviously, the bum KOs were fun to watch, obviously. But yeah, this dude's still got crazy power for sure. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Geoff Neal. He's got pretty solid power, bro. Like, I think, people forget, man. He was the first guy to just brutally fucking chin Luke from memory, if I'm not wrong. Like, I know Wonderboy beat him up and shit, but, like, he KO'd Luke bad with punches, and now, because he gave this man a brain bleed. You're on a tier list for most power if you give a man a brain bleed due to punches. That's nuts. Anyway, don't even need to say much more than that. Like, he's not sleeping everyone, he's not just one-shotting people, but I still think Geoff Neal's a very fucking solid threat on the feet. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. We got Peyton Talbot, the real O'Malley, according to Flukas Glazy. But no, Talbot's got power for sure. Maybe I should have him a bit higher, but so far, just the bums. I can't put him too high up there. KO'd Gamori immediately, but that was kind of like a flash. Like, Gamori was just open as fuck. I think anyone's getting KO'd by a right hand down the middle if Gamori's positioned the way he was. But apart from that, I'll give him credit. He beat up Nick Aguirre a little bit in the later rounds after a tough first. Was schooling Cameron Simon, landed some knees, landed some good punches, but he's not just like flatlining him. So we'll see what happens. If he goes out there and sleeps Barcelos, I'll bump him up a tier or two. But just for now, it's still respectable to be on this list. Because, like, apart from the bottom tier, the top 4 tiers still mean you are considered a power puncher. Like, that's not the tier for, like, I don't know, just some mid-level, like, guy who's not really that powerful, but also not a pillow puncher. Like, this tier's still, the top 4 tiers are still very solid hitters. Like, they still punch real hard. So Talbot, still very solid. Let's move on, though, to the final fighter to talk about. Next up and last up, we got Merab Dvalishvili. Fucking Merab. Merab's got some pop. He's got some big meaty hooks. But in all seriousness, Merab just isn't capable of hurting anyone with punches. I'm quite confident I could take a flush left to the jaw from this guy. No, Merab, like, he's got some pop, I guess, if he winds up. Got the little short arms, got the leverage, but I'm just not a believer in the Merab Dvalishvili one-shot ability, to be frank with you. To be honest with you, mate, fucking Marab is a little fucking no hairline having gremlin. He's got a good double leg, but apart from that, he's a fucking Burns victim, to be honest with you. But that'll do it, guys. That's the video done. Longer one for you again. I keep yapping for too long, but we had 40 fighters to get through, and I got it done in under 40 minutes. So I'll take it. But yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow my Instagram, Leftland MMA. Drop some other video ideas you guys want to see in the comments. And yeah, peace out, guys. Carlos Prates, future champion confirmed. Goodbye.